Hey love, I'm Sharr Smith, intuitive energy alchemist and spiritual teacher. Welcome to Journey to Self, an emotional wellness and self-discovery podcast here to ask the powerful questions so you can reveal the true potential that exists in all things for yourself, like your life, your business, and your manifestations. Journey to Self is your reliable resource for learning how to adapt and overcome. Each episode, we cover topics that allow you to hold space for yourself and pay attention to where your thoughts are building momentum. This is so you can take control and transmute the energies of stress, anxiety, and even burnout and begin to create a happy, healthy, and balanced life. Okay, so now today the conversation is going to get a bit rough. This is because it's going to be served with a bit of tough love. Understand, I mean no harm. I'm just simply a straight talk, no chaser kind of person. That said, before we continue, if you have any questions about the energetic exchange provided to you while listening to this podcast, please take a second to pause this episode and make sure that you read the disclaimers that are included in the show notes for all episodes. Now, what I share today is expressed with love, admiration, and consideration for the happy, healthy, and balanced life we all deserve, and that I am so freaking passionate about creating for myself. The truth nobody wants to say is that we simply can't get to a space where we have this type of lifestyle without the awareness of self and the self in relation to the other. What you need to know is that putting order in your life to get rid of chaos means absolutely nothing if the actions you take to do it are rooted in a mindset that doesn't support you, your energy, or how you are energetically wired to create order in the first place. Listen, we all know the definition of insanity, right? Stop doing the same shit over and over again expecting a different fucking result. It's that simple. The gateway to peace will always be conflict. This is because growth cannot occur without friction. So stop fucking trying to avoid the conflict in your life and biz and ground your energy so that you can put the emotional chaos of the situation at hand aside and actually see the energetic frequency for what it is, an opportunity for deeper connection, first with the self, then with the self in relation to the other people, places, and things that are creating or contributing to the chaos at hand. Now, if you listen to this and you like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? And you feel like you lost in the sauce. This is actually episode 2 in a 4-part series teaching you all about the 4 emotional energetic mindsets that I've created to help serve as mantras and reminders anytime that I need to regulate my nervous system in an emotional crisis. And so I'm simply sharing the knowledge of them with you so that you can have the tools and resources that you need to support yourself when life be lifing, okay? If you don't know, an emotional crisis is any moment where your emotions become so overwhelming that your ability to mentally and physically function decline. So each emotional energetic mindset is part of the foundation that supports and sustains my signature methodology that I teach my clients and teaches you some of the basics around how to actually navigate emotional crisis whenever you need to. Okay, so last episode, we covered the first emotional energetic mindset. It's not personal, it's just energy. If you missed that episode, I highly encourage you to go back and listen. Now, today, we continue building on that foundation with the second emotional energetic mindset. By the end of this episode, you will have the insights necessary to create peace out of any chaos and joy out of any pain you may endure. The experience from today's story actually taught me how to go from being a victim to being empowered in times where the odds are stacked against me, how to use anxiety and overthinking to save my life instead of allowing it to cripple me, how to drown out the noise to create inner calm, and how to center my energy to reveal the beauty, love, and abundance present in any situation. I actually learned how to pull myself up out of victim mode and transmute the pain into joy, pleasure, and success without losing myself, losing my values, or losing my sanity, right? And so my hope is that in sharing this with you, you become inspired and empowered to do the same. All right. So the second emotional energetic mindset is everything is energy and energy is everything. This one is all about learning how to recognize information in your circumstance and learning how to use that information to shift to a more supportive perspective for the results that you want in both your life and or business, right? So things started out real cool. We met sophomore year in school. He was fine. I was fine. And baby, he was all mine. Okay. I was getting flowers, quality time, little thoughtful notes and DMs. being made a priority, all the things women love to see. Okay, we love to see it. School ended. I moved back home. He started a career that took him to another state, and things became long distance. Yes, child, I rolled my eyes too. I digress. Stick with me. We were still kicking it though, making time, taking flights, driving miles and miles, sending and receiving gifts, taking trips and vacays together, falling asleep on Zoom, making that love thing work until it didn't. Now, what's crazy is how this shit snuck up on me. And admittedly, I had no fucking clue how much my resolve, self-worth, and even emotional well-being were about to be tested. Now, I'm just going ahead and put it out there, okay? Naive me stayed in this relationship way too damn long. And to be honest, oh boy, lucky he got that version of me, because me now, knowing what I fucking know now and having the experience that I have now, would have cut that shit short when the first red flag showed itself. I digress. This is why we're here now talking about all of this on this podcast, so you can learn from my experience and dodge these unnecessary bullets, okay? So a little longer into the relationship and distance turned into proximity. Lil buddy started to take his foot off the gas though. I said my piece, he shared his and said he understood, claimed we would correct the issue, but we all know how that shit goes. And quite frankly, people will play in your fucking face for as long as you let them. This is why I keep telling you, self-awareness is key. The more self-aware you are and clarity you have about who you are, what you need, and what you value, the less people can take advantage and the less likely you are to find yourself in unnecessary chaos. Anyway, communication became shitty, the efforts declined, and before long, 1 + 1 wasn't adding up to 2, okay? After several naive rounds of expressing how I felt throughout different points of the relationship and it continuously falling on deaf ears, being invalidated, and just plain ignored, I decided it may be best to call it quits. Y'all, why the fuck didn't I listen to my own damn intuition and go on about my damn business? Like, why? I clearly felt more invested than he was, but I let this nigga talk me into giving him a second chance. Like, what the fuck? What was I thinking? Why did I do that? Knowing good and damn well, Maya Angelou said it loud and clear. When somebody shows you who they are, fucking believe them. Jesus, take the wheel. No, but seriously, it was because my confidence was low. My sense of self-worth had been shaken. And to be quite honest with you, I was dealing with someone who didn't give a damn about my well-being, regardless of how good of a person they may or may not have been, whatever. Like, their actions were clearly showing me that they didn't care, regardless of if I had the conscious awareness or a conscious mindset to realize and see that or not. That was what was happening. And so, like most women, young girls at the time, right, I had been through a lot of things and had been taught to make things work at all costs, and in so many ridiculous words, to simply settle, right? Child, the amount of self-sacrifice that is shoved down our throats is a topic for a whole nother day, okay? Back to the story. So some more time passes and shit starts getting abusive. Like, when I began to consciously become aware that I was in an abusive relationship, it felt like the world had literally come crashing down on top of me. I'm talking like a shit ton of bricks. It was literally like internally seeing and feeling yourself being ripped to shreds over and over again, while simultaneously feeling yourself being locked in a coffin, drowning in the depths of the sea over and over and over again, like Stefan on Vampire Diaries. Like, I will never forget the way my soul ruptured going through that spiritual awakening and shedding that identity. Now, really quickly, I do want to take a moment to say that I am not affiliated in any way, but I just want to share a resource. If you are in an abusive relationship and need help getting to safety or finding resources to help you get out, you can contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, aka 1-800-799-7233. Or you can text the word START to 88788. Okay, so in my case, I was dealing with mental and emotional abuse. Shit got so bad that I began to question my own memory of different conversations and often had to take moments to record what was said in writing in case I quote unquote forgot, right? I can't tell you how many notes or note entries on my phone that I deleted once the relationship was over. Like, shit was really crazy. There was so much gaslighting and invalidating of my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts, all the things, that I truly began to lose sight of myself and who I was in relation to the other person involved. But the moment that I realized and understood that everything is energy and energy is everything, is the moment my ability to shift my mindset from being a victim to being empowered kicked in. Now, let me be clear. This is not about being shamed or feeling guilty for feeling like a victim. That experience is very real and should never, ever be taken lightly. It's also not about whether or not they are a good person or are they, a bad person or trying to do X, Y, and Z, because abuse is abuse, even if unintentional at first. What I am saying to you is that once you have the thought and or awareness that you feel like a victim, that's your cue to prioritize your own well-being in a stricter capacity. This is mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever. That's your fucking cue to start questioning the what and the why behind what's making you feel that way. Regardless of how severe the abuse is, the type of abuse it is in question, or the relationship type in question, romantic, platonic, or otherwise. You want to question what in your environment is triggering that energy in motion for you, aka emotion, right? And question the thoughts around why you think and feel it's happening to you. Doing so is going to help you stop making the experience itself mean something specifically about you and instead empower you to start allowing yourself to be informed. This is where you begin to pay attention to your thoughts and both how and where they are building momentum, because what you want to be cautious of is taking impulsive actions that could jeopardize your safety or your well-being. This is mind, body, and spirit all the same. See, sometimes no matter how much we want them to or how hard we try to make it be there, sometimes people simply do not have the capacity to show up in the way that you think they should, the way that they promised and pretended that they could, or the way that you see they have the potential to do so. There are just certain life events and experiences that have not happened for them in order to create the capacity. And when you are conscious enough to realize this, that's the moment you need to walk away, change the way you interact, reassess the level of access you are giving, or adjust the time and energy investments that you are making. This is where your self-worth, your self-love, and self-care all come into play, because if you stay knowing the capacity your specific energy requires support is not available, you are actively choosing stress, anxiety, burnout, and a lack of self-compassion. This is also where the conversation we're having gets a little rough and the pill becomes even harder to swallow, right? Because the truth of the matter is, and it took me, a year and a half of rebuilding my life to learn this. The truth of the matter is, like, even in the midst of chaos, we have to take accountability, aka ownership of your own emotions and the way that you chose to respond to the situation as a result of those emotions, if you are ever going to be able to create any sort of order in the chaos that has happened. Remember, I told you at the beginning of this episode, the gateway to peace will always be some sort of conflict, be it big or small. And this is because growth simply cannot occur without friction. Something has to go through transformation in order to be made anew. This is why death, birth, and rebirth occur in so many different forms. Prime example, the metamorphosis that a caterpillar goes through to become a butterfly. Regardless of what the chaotic situation is that you find yourself in, mine just so happened to be an emotionally abusive relationship. Yours might be traffic on the highway, being overworked and underpaid, running into an old high school bully, or nurses eating their young, right? A family member constantly taking advantage of you, a toxic work environment, debt, a difficult client, your products and services not selling, etc. Like, whatever the thing is, the solution is to stop fucking trying to avoid the reality of the conflict in your life and or business, and instead face it head on, however that looks for you. You're looking at the energy so you know how to move. Regardless of what facing the conflict looks like for you, I'm telling you, it's trying to teach you something, and it's there to create the capacity for you to show up for yourself, create order, and get rid of unnecessary chaos, keeping you from a happy, healthy, balanced life, okay? When you choose not to face conflict, aka the opportunity for deeper connection, first with the self and second in relation to the other people, places, and things involved, you become abusive towards yourself. This is the shitty part of this that nobody wants to talk about. This is the other side of that coin of abuse that doesn't get addressed, which creates the vicious ass cycle where you continue to choose the same damn experience in different forms, expecting a different result. Didn't I just tell you the definition of insanity? I'm telling you my story so that you can nip this shit in the bud and at the goddamn root and spare yourself the unnecessary emotional pain, stress, and overwhelm, aka emotional crisis of it all. But the thing that no one is saying is that you first have to change your perspective from operating on a surface level to operating on an energetic level. Look at the dynamics of quantum physics, your human design, and even manifestation here, right? Like attracts like no matter what end of the scale is being expressed on the vibrational frequency that you are naturally putting out day in and day out, right? Your thoughts create the form for your desire. Your emotions fuel the thought. Your intention focuses your attention. And your attention, aka your continuous thoughts and inspired and aligned action, are what hold the idea in place until you get what you want. This is happening consciously and unconsciously all the time, whether you want it to or not. That's why I'm telling you to pay attention to this thought of feeling like a victim and the way this shit is building momentum for you and in your life, creating this experience that you're having in your reality. The universe doesn't speak words, it speaks energy. And energy starts in the metaphysical world. It's fun, malleable, and light to carry. But once you start trying to manipulate and sculpt the energy into something specific, aka a thought, a specific shape and form here in the physical world, the energy becomes very dense and heavy to move. So action is required, and action is the language that the physical world speaks when it comes to manifestation. So if you want to manifest or create order, right, and get rid of chaos, you have to understand the energy of the chaos you are trying to create order in. You have to understand that energy is everything and everything is energy. It's there to inform your experience. So while I was clueless and oblivious in my relationship to the information staring me right in the face, telling me clear as day, this experience that this individual had to offer was not supportive of my well-being, the chaos was building. I was so busy avoiding and trying my damnedest not to face the conflict that I endured a lot of stress, anxiety, and emotional pain that could have been avoided had I taken the time to face the opportunity for deeper connection with the self and the self in relation to the other much sooner. If you take nothing else away from this podcast episode today, understand that you do not deserve abuse in any form. It is not okay to accept, take, or endure any form of abuse, not even from your fucking self, okay? Remember that you teach people how to treat you based on how you treat yourself. Now, granted, some people will most definitely take this shit to the extreme. And again, it's never okay. Your job is to take the chaos you are presented with when met with it, right? And find the beauty, the love, and abundance present so that you can use those things to pull yourself up out of victim mode and transmute the pain into joy, pleasure, and success for your own benefit, well-being, wants, needs, and desires in both your life and your business. Remember the energetic cocktail we talked about with the first emotional energetic mindset in episode 1. You can create order in your life and get rid of chaos when you detach yourself, your state of being, your identity, and your self-concept away from all meaning you've otherwise made a momentary experience in the grand scheme of your life mean something about you. When you value yourself, prioritize yourself and your own well-being, and treat yourself as worthy in any and all regards, other people will have no fucking choice but to do the same. Why? Because it's all energy. Energy is everything, and everything is energy. It's information informing your experience and your present moment options for creating it. When you understand this second fundamental emotional energetic mindset, that energy is everything and everything is energy, you give yourself a vantage point in the chaos that supports your ability to manipulate and transmute the energy of the situation to your benefit. So I ask you, when, where, and around what person, place, or thing do you have those thoughts of feeling like a victim? Where are you not being intentional about what, how, when, and where you observe the world around you? What spatial capacity is your nervous system operating from right now? This is mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, right? Start allowing yourself to be more intentional about the experiences that you have, regardless of if they come with chaos or not. Start paying attention to where and how opportunities for deeper connection with the self come up and how you may be trying to avoid them. Look at where you are running from, feeling overwhelmed instead of facing the inner truths that the conflict is trying to show you need to fucking pay attention to. You always have the ability to create peace out of chaos and joy out of pain. It's simply a matter of realizing that energy is everything and everything is energy. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow the podcast for more and so you can stick around for the rest of the series. Make sure you take a second to also rate the podcast and share it with a friend or on your socials. For more insights, tips, and access to my free Soul for Energy Care checklist, where I teach you how to turn chaos into bliss with practical tools to manage stress, find inner calm, and create success on your own terms, subscribe to my newsletter, The House of Soul Love, over on Substack. All of the links are listed for you in the show notes below. Thanks so much for listening to Journey to Self, your number one resource for emotional wellness and self-discovery, helping you learn how to adapt and overcome. Scroll down, press play, and meet me in the next episode. Bye, love.